Well, Australia's biggest travel agency, Flight Centre, has staged a $485 million profit turnaround from a loss last year to a $301 million profit before interest, tax and depreciation. From a moment 2 years ago when Flight Centre boss Graham Turner couldn't have been really certain his business would survive, to today where it's flourishing but trimmed down, the returns are dropping to the bottom line. The founder and chief executive of Flight Centre, Graham "Screw" Turner, joins me now. Graham, many thanks for your time as always. I know you've spoken the past couple of days a lot about Qantas and Qatar and all the likes of that. As you've seen all the debate rage around the place, has it changed your mind or your mood any way about competition on airlines here in Australia?
No, definitely not. It's obvious we need more capacity in Australia, and I mean that's not only us. The tourism industry needs it. The average person who's travelling overseas needs it because, as you know, the fares are quite expensive at the moment for most people. There are some good specials around in the long term, but at this stage there's not enough capacity, and it was very disappointing to see Qatar knock back on that extra capacity.
So we're having a look at your revenues, up 126%. There was appetite for people to travel. The people had savings. They kind of felt good coming out of COVID. They wanted to travel. Is that appetite continuing?
Look, as far as we can see, it is. There's, the main problem for most people, particularly lower income people, will be the level of airfares, particularly internationally, particularly to UK, Europe and North America. So, the appetite still seems to be there. And we think for most of our market, we don't see it dropping much over and at least our people can actually cope with the level of inquiry now where, 6-12 months ago, it was very difficult.
I was sitting here looking at the efficiencies, and we've got a chart up showing this from your presentation today. Going back pre-COVID, you had more than 20,000 staff. You now have around 12,300. But the reality is, back then, per staff, you were writing about $1.2 million in travel per year. Now you're writing $1.8 million. So in other words, you're a much more efficient business than what you were back pre-COVID.
Yeah, I think those numbers are right. They're probably the averages through the year. We're probably getting closer to, up around that 14,000 mark now. So, but obviously our TTV is increasing. So that 1.8 million is probably a reasonable figure. And that 50% increase in productivity is very important. And it's not only coming in leisure, it's also coming in corporate, of course.
So just explain to me, how do fewer staff end up writing more business? Because that is productivity increasing that the country's talking about right now. What things are they doing now that they weren't doing back in 2019?
Yes, well, we put a lot of effort over those couple of years, or the 3.5 years of COVID, to, if you like, renovate our systems, our tech systems, particularly, both in leisure and in corporate. So we basically are running different or really improved platforms. So, for example, in leisure, as you can imagine, and corporate, we had to lose nearly 3/4 of our people, and we lost a lot of skill levels there. So we put a lot of effort into simplifying our systems, improving our tech, so that we could employ people and train them up on the systems and their knowledge fairly quickly, and that certainly has improved things, and that's why we believe these productivity gains will be retained.
Okay, so the productivity gains are retained. You're worried about, in particular, the budget end of the travellers. Tell me what the premium end of the aircraft are like at the moment. My understanding is the appetite's still pretty hot.
Yeah, definitely. I think business class in most of the major airlines is very hard to get seats. And so that premium traveller is, they're travelling a lot. But it's not only them, but most of our customers, particularly long-haul international customers, will tend to be mid to higher income earners. So, and initially, of course, coming out of COVID, there was a lot of visiting friends and relations market, and a lot of that was air only. Now we're getting much more complex itineraries and a lot more upmarket type and diverse and longer travel arrangements. So most of that's playing out reasonably well for us and our competitors here in Australia, I think.
Screw Turner, always good to have a chat to you on these days. Strong result. Many thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much, Ross. Cheers.